One. I'll just give people a minute to come in.
Okay. How's the weather at your end, though?
No small talk, Summer.
I was like, it's awkward.
Just- I know the silence is so deafening.
Sounds yeah, definitely.
But no, genuinely, it's extremely concerning where the weather is. I'm going to answer like an autistic. It's so concerning where we are right now because it's early February and the environment thinks that it is mid spring because it's been so warm here. And I'm afraid that this is going to cause harm to animals and plants because things are starting to grow and even bloom that usually don't bloom until late March or even after that. So yeah. Anyway, now we have some people joining and we'll get started. Hi, I'm Tara from Neuroclastic, and we have other guests who are joining us, but people are jumping in when they can because, as usual, given our poor executive functioning, we don't plan very well here. And so we're kind of a last minute, like, hey, we're doing a thing. It should be fun. Just, you want to come? So we have Fidgets and Fries coming. We have Elizabeth Fossler and Ian Nordling from International Association for Spelling as Communication. And some other people are probably coming. So they're trying to maneuver their schedules to hop in and make some cameos. So today we're going to just spend some time with the community. We're going to talk to some really cool people. You've probably seen, and if not, please check it out. We have this thing going on where we've hired 10, actually 11 autistic illustrators to illustrate some autistic characters. And the characters that they'll be illustrating are you, the community, anyone out there who wants to participate. There is a pinned post on Facebook that you can look at and get some more information and see everyone else's bio. And just looking at the, yay, vexatious, welcome. Just looking at the amazing things that people said about themselves, like you can see that people know themselves. And we had amazing ones from young children, as Summer knows, and I'll turn the floor over to Summer in just a second. And we are co-sponsored in this community building initiative that we're doing for no other reason than it's fun, and this is a great interactive way to have those conversations about that common trope, autism is a superpower, which, you know, we've talked about a lot and we'll probably talk about some today, which lacks nuance but is not 100% untrue like most tropes. It's just that it's offensive in its oversimplification because we do have different abilities. So, enough from me. Let me turn it over to Summer to introduce yourself and to one of the orgs that we're working with that we love is Kind Theory. And I'll let Summer tell you who she is and what Kind Theory is.
Hello, everyone. I'm just gonna go very raw and real here. I'm very nervous, so if I stutter, please forgive me. I am Summer. I am a late diagnosed autistic and ADHDer. And I do have auditory processing issues. So if I hear something incorrectly, please feel free to jump in and correct me, Tara. I have done my master's in business administration. And when I went through my experience of being diagnosed late in life, I looked back on the struggles that I had when I was undiagnosed, and getting the labels that, were maybe all given in well intentions, but were not actually who I was, and not being recognized for my neurodivergence. And then with my children's diagnosis, I found that kind theory. I was like, there is a lack of connection, lack of education, and lack of awareness. And so it can't happen in silos. We have to connect. We have to connect with the communities. We have to connect with the organizations. We have to connect with the systems, and we have to connect everyone together, bring everyone together to kind of help cultivate acceptance for neurodiversity. And so that's where it all started from. And thank you so much, Tara, for partnering with us on this. I'm so excited. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, I would love to talk more, but I think I don't want to take up Tara's space. So Tara, please go on.
Oh, yeah, you can talk more, of course, especially since no one else is here yet. We're on autistic time, which is like, and not just autistic, but autistic plus ADHD time. And so that means people just come when they come. and yeah, and we told you about this happening just today. So thank you to everybody who's here already. And please, today is just about having fun and connecting with the community. Right now, things are dark. Things are dark in the world. Things are dark and heavy in our community. Just a lot of people are going through a lot of really hard things. And so it is important, especially when you're doing advocacy and activism, to take time to connect and to interact outside of like things related to oppression and hard things. So that's what today is about. Just connecting and processing together and having some fun. So I want to ask Summer, we're doing this cool thing with the superheroes. Tell me what your superhero might be like. If
Oh,
you were a character at
Mhm.
someplace like in X-Men or something.
Oh, I think I wrote it out. Can I just read it from my comment because I can't?
Yeah, of course. Also, want to
Thank
ask
you.
the audience, like, in X Men, which we're doing this because Trey Ventura, who might even make a cameo today, we're hoping if he gets out of a meeting that he's in time. Trey Ventura is this amazing autistic academic, and he is doing a webinar on neuroclastic for free. So please register for that because it does have limited seating. We can increase the capacity for it if it looks like it's about to get full, though. But it will help if we can do that early. So we know everybody waits to the last minute to register for things, and so do I, but it will help us not end up paying for more than we need if we're not going to have a ton more people, or not having enough seating at the end because we didn't pay enough if everybody just waits to the last minute to register. So please do that. But on February 22nd, Trey Ventura is coming to do a webinar to talk about X-Men as a metaphor for neurodivergence. And that's from the Marvel universe. And it wasn't the typical superheroes that are just like, everybody is a strong man who just has all these powers and has to pretend to have weaknesses. These people actually had disabilities, and sometimes their powers were disabling. And in some contexts, they were really difficult, and in the world, they were targeted and bullied. And so they have this place they go to be together where they are taught to use their abilities and to work as teams, taking some people's strengths and other people's strengths that are complementing to each other. So that is a really cool, like complicated, nuanced metaphor that I think a ton of autistic people have related to, even if you don't like that kind of media, movie, comics, whatever. The story, the plot is still relatable. So yeah, We want to know what your powers are that can be disabling in some ways, but also really helpful in others. Our community is hilarious at making fun of ourselves in an affectionate way, and so I always love meme posts that kind of show our neurology. Okay, Summer, did you find it?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
All
over
right.
to you.
So, Summer is an empath. She can make things easy and better for people. She has the power to help people connect with each other in nature. She loves to give people reasons to be happy. She is protective and has a strong sense of standing with the ones who are wronged. Empathy can sometimes lay heavy on Summer, so when she's alone, she transforms into either a dragon or a panda, depending on the overwhelm of emotion she feels. Enraged, she soars like a dragon and breathes fire. Overwhelmed, she prefers solitude. So, and my kids would agree that, yeah.
So you think, and I love that because being able to bring people together, to sit together, to relate to each other, and to connect, and also to connect with nature, that is a gift. And that is an important one that I think, especially in Anglo society, gets overlooked for this hyper independence, where we're not even encouraged to connect at all.
True.
And it becomes hard. And the things that we connect over tend to be work related often or making money related. And that is, it's often we're connecting over our struggles too and superficial things. So, what is a way that you would say you really, or maybe something you've done before you want to do that kind of demonstrates your gift in navigating, like helping people find connection? How do you do that?
So, there's number one, I feel like connection for just the need of connection is mostly underrated. There's always, as you said, a kind of like a reason behind it. And so, one of the things that I like to do is, in places of conflict, and in places where, connection is least likely possible, I like to form a bridge over there. And by a bridge, I mean that opening a platform of communication where dialogue is respected, and opinions are respected. And it's one thing to kind of disagree. It's another thing to completely berate somebody else's opinion and stuff like that. And I think this is happening so much that people are least willing to connect with each other now. And so I think when someone is given an opportunity to come forward, make a connection without being judged, without having themselves degraded or berated, or, without having every one of their flaws caught and critiqued upon, I think that's when the true connection happens, because that's when people start feeling that, we can talk, we can form connections, we can share, we can, share our struggles, share our victories, share everything. And that's when the seed of connection is planted. So one of the things that I have done in the past as a student and as working as a teacher, I actually try to establish those platforms, and they can be very informal to formal, where you try to bring two different voices of conflict together. And I know it isn't all rainbows and glory and everything like that. It's not always pretty when that happens, but it does make a difference.
So I was thinking about, I love that. And I was thinking about how I think a few years ago, we saw a big shift in society where people stopped tolerating hate
Yes.
and injustice as much as they used to and started standing up to
Yes.
it and using their voices. And that was amazing because people were confronting these things that were just accepted as the norm, right? And in in the vein of respectful communication and being polite, they were allowing things like racism and ableism and
Yes.
homophobia and transphobia to go unchecked. And so people did start using their voices. People did start standing up against it. But I believe that we maybe, I don't want to say went too far in using our voices, but maybe did not, maybe become, we've come to a place where the way that we are engaging with injustice has not been strategic.
That's true.
And it has been possibly, just causing more harm. We are fighting. We're not fighting the for the issues so much. We're fighting against the people,
That's true.
and so they are seeing us as the enemy, and we're seeing them as the enemy, instead of trying to help people see with some nuance. And I think social media makes that worse too, don't you? Like not having enough. We're rewarded by the algorithms for things that are just brief, and it has a picture and it's not too disturbing and it doesn't use certain words, and so we've lost nuance and we're not really helping people deeply understand things. We're yelling at them for not understanding things the way
You
that
know
we
what,
do.
Tara? I'm sorry for cutting you off there,
Oh, you're
but
good.
I just wanted to add here that I've noticed, and I'm 34, and in all those 34 years, I've noticed that whenever there is an us versus them battle, you start dehumanizing when you separate them from us, and it goes both ways. And I feel like there shouldn't be an us versus them. It should be all of us together. And only, and I agree with you that, the way that we are raising our voices, and, one of the things that I'd like to highlight here is that I have immense respect for neuroplastic because um, you have very kindly created a space for neurodivergent people like me, and developed an opportunity for holistic people to learn about us. And it has never been from a space of hatred or bigotry or just I am right, you are wrong, us versus them. It has never been that. And I appreciate and respect Neuroclastic so much for that. But there are people, I remember when I learned of my neurodivergence and I became a part of the community, there were a lot of people who were actually within the community and very against advocates who use like myself, who use the actually autistic hashtag. So there's this great divide between our communities as well. And I think that stems from the lack of strategic planning in raising our voices. And that has to be, something maybe another serious session we'll have together to kind of see how we can make that bridge and connect you know, kind of eliminate the divide between the community itself.
So we do have these divides, and you have that there is a group of people who will call them the severe autism lobby because that is their political center, the thing that they center in all of their publication. And they're trying to separate speaking autistics from non speakers primarily. And what they're trying to do is say that people in the neurodiversity movement, which that's not really a thing, right? I mean, all movements are just people who have a general direction that they're all moving in, and how they do that is very different. It's not like we're a club with like membership and rules and whatnot, but it can become that over time because when you're fighting against things that are antagonistic, you develop talking points and things that just kind of happen naturally that end up making this fruitless merry-go-round of debate. And we see that with the severe autism lobby, where they've done that us versus them thing. And they're saying these people don't care. By these people, I mean neurodiversity advocates. These people don't care. They don't know anything about the lives of people with, quote, severe autism, which usually means people with severe apraxia, the motor planning deficits, disability. And so when they do that, they are purposefully baiting to maintain this fruitless and pointless debate that is an us versus them. How do they benefit from that divide, do you think? What is keeping that divide going by provoking people into these very surface level debates that don't teach anybody any nuance about autism whatsoever or autistic lives? It's all about like, these people speak over us and these people hate us and hate their children. Why are they doing that, do you think?
So, after my diagnosis, I spent a lot of time in a couple of groups who had the same concerns like you listed about the neurodiversity advocates. And one of the things that I noticed was that they're saying that we're taking away support from them. We're not giving enough or any recognition to the challenges that they face. Another thing was that by doing that, they feel like we're harming the caregivers or parents, which are an integral part of, a family with a neurodivergent child. And so, there were all these points, and I was just following neuroclastic. And I was like, I don't see that happening here. And so, well, all in all, I don't, if you were to ask me, what do I think that they got from that? I don't think they did anything. If anything, I think they increased the pathological, kind of belief about autism and ADHD. And they actually limited, I think, opportunities for, the non-speaking population. That's how I feel. I'm not saying that that may be true for everyone or everyone feels that way, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I believe that they are purposefully maintaining this debate to keep it at such a surface level because they don't want people to have an in-depth nuance. They fight against communication rights too. And, it's always the same people, the people who support Judge Rotenberg Center that uses electric shock, the people who unequivocally support ABA, not even, there are people who have a careful, metered a nuanced view of ABA that is cynical, but is not 100% like, no, never. But these are people who are like, yes, always. And so they, it's this small group, and they oppose communication rights because if they started talking about motor planning and what is actually different from, someone who is on the internet typing by themselves without support, and someone who doesn't have reliable communication and supports who can't. That's really that dividing line where they're saying this is severe. Those people actually do need a lot more support because they have apraxia to an extreme that is disabling, and but they want to decide what supports. They're lobbyists. They're protecting interests. And if they had any curiosity about things, they would have some nuance. It wouldn't all just be about these people have it wrong and they don't understand us. So they're centering, like their feelings. Strategically, I feel that we are giving them the fuel they need to keep that absolutely pointless and non-beneficial debate going by interacting at all. We need to get together as a community and strategize. Like, there is some truth to, like, most things that are propaganda. There is often some truth, but just extremely lacking in nuance, right? They can't navigate without a lot of support, especially from their parents, and their parents do need to be a part of conversations. That's true. And we do need to, we also, as advocates, not so much activists, center our own experiences because that's what we know, right? But then that's leaving out people who don't have the support and privilege and access to be able to have communication that's reliable and be able to center themselves. And when we talk about ourselves and we don't need those supports, we are leaving them out implicitly. So there is some truth to that. But instead of us saying, how can we prove them wrong by doing, we're stuck on their merry-go-round. They keep provoking on purpose, I think.
Tara, a lot of us, at least the advocates that I've been in touch with, all of us are trying to do something in our capacity to do that, right? I know you have tried to do that. I know I am trying to do that. There are other people who are trying to do that as well. What I don't understand is that why does it have to be like, kind of like it's almost as if we are going unheard, our efforts are going unseen, and it's just hard for me to fathom, like how can they not see that we're also doing that.
Sorry, I had the mute button and then my laptop froze because I clicked the wrong thing. I opened Maps. Um, yeah, I think they do see it. That's the thing. I try to solve the mystery. Like, I tried to reason with them for so long and just kept getting in. They would take my words and interpret them as if I said something totally different. And I would try to be like, no, that's not what I'm saying. And, you know, they're doing that because if I eventually blow up and react, then they'll get a screenshot of it and say, look, it's proof that these people are irrational and unreasonable and they're mean. So we have to be strategic and let people know, hey, if you do that, then that's not, is that, are we helping anybody, or are we just giving them exactly what they're trying to? Yeah. So I put, we have building community as a superpower as our stream title today, because I think that is something that we should work on together. We need community. Can you think of a time when you have really badly needed community and didn't have it? And this is a question for the audience too. Like, has there been a time in your life, don't disclose private things you don't want to talk about, but has there been a time in your life when you really could have used some support and you needed a community to work through something, or come through for you, or do something, and you just couldn't access that?
Oh my God, can I share my experience with
Please
that?
do.
Well, you know, and I just posted this on my Facebook timeline. I don't remember the exact wordings, memory, but I do remember that I kept feeling like a failure because I was, let's just say, um, for the lack of a better example, a bird in sea or a fish without water or something like that. I felt like I was not succeeding at anything. And on the face of it, everybody who saw me and knew me did not think that my brain works differently or that I was neurodivergent in any way. I was just lazy or absent-minded or daydreamer or stuff like that. And I remember telling my mom that I don't belong in this world. And I had no idea about all I knew about autism or ADHD was related to this, you know, common understanding of these neurological conditions in my country. They're just associated with children there. So I never thought that, that I was neurodivergent. I just thought that there was something very, very wrong. And then when I came and became a part of a community and I saw people sharing their experiences, it was as if I could see light again. I was like, oh my God, I'm not alone. And that was that was the one of the best feelings that I've had in my entire life, because I could finally relate for the very first time, seeing people sharing struggles that I had, seeing them saying that it's okay, it's okay to give yourself some grace. And it was, I'm so thankful for the community. I'm so thankful that I found the community, seriously.
Have you run into, you needed that badly and it was life saving? After you had that initial, like, oh my goodness, these things are not just accepted, but people just openly talk about them instead of trying to hide and mask them. Like, people are honest and they care about each other and they're not judging each other. They're saying, yes, same here. I do this too. I feel this way too. Do you think that did you have a span of time like that, and then after hit like this really disappointing wall where things weren't as connected as you hoped they were, or you ran into people taking you wrong or confronting you in an aggressive way that really made you feel alone again?
Oh, well, I wouldn't say being aggressive with me. There was this one instance online, but apart from that, one thing that I was, you know, disappointed in after even getting my diagnosis and everything was, the invalidation, even with the formal diagnosis, and the invalid, because see, there is neurodiversity and there is neurodivergence of a person within this country. Then there are cultural implications, environment implications, and there's this whole sort of mix thing that when you have to and these all variables, they affect you. I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but I'm having a hard time phrasing it. But all of these things impact you. And so when I got diagnosed, I had an option to continue masking, because it's almost, and I feel ashamed to say that, but it's almost kind of like, it's getting better now, but it's almost like a taboo people try to hide. Um, uh, in back where I'm from, the diagnosis of autism or ADHD, not so much anymore, but before they used to. And one of the things that their focus for women, especially, is that they don't kind of want them to put any labels on them, is because they are concerned about getting married and stuff like that. I'm very lucky to have a very supportive husband, and but when I discuss openly about my diagnosis or my neurodivergence with people of my own culture or country, I can see them being uncomfortable, if that makes sense. And that is most disappointing to me, because it's almost as if it's I am living the same disappointment all over again.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That, so much that I think so many people would relate. And hey, Elizabeth and Ian, I'm so happy you're here. So, welcome. This is Elizabeth Vossler and Ian Nordling. They are with IASK, and I'm just going to turn it over to you, Elizabeth. And IASK is one of the orgs that's co sponsoring this superhero thing where we're about to, starting tomorrow. So, tomorrow is the last day. We're about to go through all of these and choose some people's characters to have autistic people illustrate them. So make sure that you've done this and have your friends do it too if you're interested in being illustrated. And even if you don't want to be, just several people, myself included, I'm not entering to be illustrated. I just want to be in community. So and put my bio in there too. So you can do that too if you don't. There are some illustrators who are like, I can illustrate myself. Okay, Evie.
Thank you so much for inviting us to join you, Tara. I'm sorry we're joining late. Ian had a previous engagement, and we're really excited to be a part of this momentum to celebrate neurodiversity and everybody's individual talents and strengths, and all of the beautiful differences that make us great individuals. So, Ian, I'm going to see what you have to say. THANKS, thanks. FORHAVINGME, thanks for having me. HERE. Thanks for having me here.
Oh my goodness, thank you for coming. I'm so excited to have Ian here. My buddy.
am SOWEIRD. I'm so weird. ANDLOVE, and love. THATYOU, and love that you. AREEMBRACING, embracing. THIS. I love that you're embracing this! Exclamation point.
I am so
love that
happy.
you're embracing this.
I'm a little geeked out right now because I'm so happy Ian's here. I think we have a lot in common. Yeah, weird is amazing and it's not boring. So, Evie, can you tell people what IASK is, what that acronym stands for, and what you do at IASK?
Sure. IAS stands for the International Association for Spelling as Communication. And our mission at IASC is to increase communication access globally through training, education, advocacy, and research. So we're made up of non-speaking people, and that means people who don't speak at all, have minimal speech, or have unreliable speech, where sometimes they're able to say what they want to say, and sometimes they can't. And we want to make sure that everyone has access to communication, because communication is a human right. And the overwhelming majority of our community, which also includes families, folks in the neurodiverse community, practitioners, allied professionals, all committed to ensuring communication access and choice. And most of our the non-speaking members of our community use either a letterboard or a keyboard to communicate. And Ian and I have known each other since he was 2 years old. And he's well into his mid-20s now. And so we have been best good friends for a long time, and has taught me way more than I've ever been able to teach him. So I'm so happy he's able to join us too.
So I want to hear from both of you. Evie, we call Elizabeth Evie. Everybody in the Spellerverse, just Evie is shorthand because there are two Elizabeths who work together, and so one's EZ and one's Evie. But Evie and Ian, I want to hear from both of you what might be your superpower that makes you different. It doesn't have to be super, but just what makes you different, and how is that a strength or weakness? What would your comic book character be like?
Ian, that's a great question. I'm able to look at people. A-N-D and S-I-T-U. Get it? A-T-I-O-N-S. People and situations. A-N-D and R-E-A-D and read. T-H-R-O-U-G-H and read through. T-H-E. The B-S. I'm able to look at people and situations and read through the BS.
I knew you were going to say that. I was hoping you would say that, because totally.
I definitely can tell you, Ian is an amazing observer and reader of people. And yeah, I think that is an incredible talent of yours, Ian. Gosh, mine. I am super ADHD. So I think, I regulate myself sometimes by weaving a tapestry of obscenities, privately. But sometimes I have a little sign in my office that says maybe swearing will help. But it's also next to another sign that says be the nice kid. And I always feel like I'm one organizational device away from a life-changing revolution, but I'm constantly chasing that dragon for something that's going to organize my ADHD brain.
Yeah, but for an ADHDer, you get so much done. Like, I keep being afraid, that your extreme hyper focus for communication rights is going to like ADHD out, and you'll just like, in a year from now, you'll be like all about fishing or something, some other totally separate thing.
Well,
but
it would be hard for me to lose my love for this community, that's for sure. But yeah, it can be, I think it can be both a blessing and a curse, right? That there's sometimes you get into that hyper laser focus and that's all you think about. And then sometimes my brain is just tired of that's all I think about. How about for you guys?
Oh, for me, I think my superpower has to do with memory. Like, and I don't sleep. I can't. I just my nervous system is so wrecked, and so I can't sleep. And the only way I can regulate is to read, and so I consume I, more hours of information per day through reading than most people are awake, and I remember all of it. So I have I don't have total. Somebody asked, do I have total recall? Not total. I used to be a lot closer to that, but traumatic brain injury and age and PTSD have all kind of made my memory spotty. It's all or nothing. So a lot of times, yes, I do have some total recall and can even like smell things and hear things audibly as if I'm still in the moment, like I'm watching a video, but also re experiencing like the smells and sounds and emotions. Ian, what's your memory like? Do you have the autistic super memory or do you have.
What do you think, Ian? He's taking a look at one of the lit mags that he and his friends have published. What's your memory like? ONETHINGIC One thing I can BECOUNTED. And one thing I can be counted on, TOFORGET. One thing I can be counted on to forget, SWIVERTANT. One thing I can be counted on to forget is whatever is important. I think I can certainly relate to that, Ian. I'm a font of useless information, but something I really need to know, it's iffy.
Yeah, same. So speaking of forgetting things and how my memory is sometimes okay and sometimes not, I today had interacted with everyone who was coming or couldn't come. Some people from Crimson Rise were going to hopefully come, but then weren't able to. And I interacted with Tiffany from Fidgets and Fries, but I did not. I said I would send the link, and I thought I had, but I hadn't. So I checked my messages a little while ago, and she said that I didn't send her the link. So she might or might not come. I'm not sure, but that was my fault. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. I feel terrible, but I do stuff like this all the time.
Yeah.
My brain is not. My brain is wired to like do one thing deeply and uninterrupted. And so doing something like this, no matter how hard I try, I just keep messing up all the time. But hopefully she can come. But also, she just moved. And if she doesn't come, please check out Fidgets and Fries. We are doing through our org. We have a special fund that we just posted about, and it's also on the website for Tiffany's book that's coming out in a couple months called A Day with No Words, a children's book about a mom and her non speaking son. It's based on Tiffany and her relationship with her son Aiden. And we have a fundraiser that you can help to contribute to buy copies of the book for people who need financial assistance, who want a book but just can't. And so, yeah, if you want to contribute to that, that's a we'll put a link up in a minute. That's why we wanted to have Tiffany on. Also, her son Jojo is drawing these amazing superhero characters that was just perfect timing because she's Jojo. Her other teen son is he drew his brother as an adult as a superhero, and they made that into a shirt to raise money to buy books for people who need a book. And that was just an amazing way for a family to be wonderful and build community and just everybody contributing. And so I just wanted that shirt to get some attention, but we'll share it. And I'm sorry that I messed that up. But yeah. So Evie and Ian. And also, audience, please throw your questions out. We're hoping that Trey can come, but Trey is the one who's doing the webinar in February and make an appearance too. But do you think that how do you feel about the community in X-Men where there are all these quote super freaks, these people who have these differences, that these abilities that are disabling in some circumstances but great in others, and they're targeted, but they come to Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters and they learn to hone their differences, how and use them for their own benefit and to advocate for themselves and others. How does that relate to what you do at iAsk?
Wow. I'm going to let Ian go with that one first because I have to think about that. ITHINK. I think THATIASC. I think that I ask HAS has GIVENUS, given us APLACE, a place, TOGATHER, a place to gather, AND. Sorry, I lost you. BEAPRECED, and be appreciated, FOROUR, for our, DIFFERENCES, and be appreciated for our differences. So I think IASK has given us a place to gather and be appreciated for our differences. And I'm grateful for that, Ian. And I feel we certainly want that at IASK, but I feel like Neuroclastic has also done that as well. That, we're all together, we celebrate each other for our differences, our talents, our foibles even, right? And I think it depends on something that can be considered a challenge or a weakness by others can be celebrated as a talent in the right environment.
Yeah, I love that. And I think I just love hanging out in the Spellerverse. I hope that more people from our community, because if you want to follow IASK, you get tons and tons of opportunities to be in community with the spellers and the Spellerverse, which is what we call not just non-speakers who use spelling, but also all the people in that world who are fighting for communication rights and communication and regulation partners and instructors and just cool people. Just a really cool place to be. And
Absolutely.
yeah, you're doing community right for sure. So we have an audience question for everyone. What are you all grateful for? You want to start with that? Start that one, Summer.
I think the question for me should be, what am I not grateful for? Because there's so many things to be grateful for. I would like to say, if I can call you Evie, and Ian, I'm so grateful to have had an opportunity to meet you guys today. Thank you for everything you guys are doing for the community. I appreciate you all so much. And If I had to choose one thing, I think I would be grateful for having found a community that recognizes me and accepts me and gives me opportunities to do things that I would otherwise have been unable to do. So, yeah.
Summer, thank you so much. I completely agree. For me, I'm personally grateful for community. You know, one thing that comes up in the non-speaking community is people say, well, if someone spells, they're not independent, but they are autonomous with communication. And I think that autonomy is far greater than independence. And I know that anything that I do that's of any consequence or usually any success comes from doing it as part of a community. And so I'm just so grateful for having like-minded people that understand, that support each other, and that gets me through hard days. And that's me personally. Ian, how about you? SOMUCHTO. So much TOBE to be MOSTGRATEFUL. Most grateful, FOR. So much to be most grateful for. HAVINGMYBACK. Having my back. AND THEBACKS, and the backs OFOTHER. Other. NONSPEAKER. S, and the backs of other non-speakers. MEAN. S means THE, the WORLD means the world to me. So much to be most grateful for. Having my back and the backs of other non-speakers means the world to me. Tara, you're great with the transcript there.
I want to immortalize the words here. Also, like, I I didn't know if you were transcribing on with pencil or not, so just back up CRP over here.
Thank you. No, I'm just catching it on the fly as Ian's got so much to say here.
And so I took Sarah up on her challenge. She said she's not nervous about public speaking. Sarah's our community coordinator here at Neuroclassic.
All right.
Welcome, Sarah. And she put that one of her superpowers is not being afraid of public speaking. And so I just sent her a text like, here's the link if you want to jump on in. So welcome, Sarah. You want to introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about who you are?
Oh gosh. Okay. So I'm Sarah. I'm the community coordinator. I have a background in public speaking, singing, all sorts of things like that. And yeah, I think everybody's taken advantage of that for a really long time, and I don't mind if people take advantage of it at all. Sometimes the things that people talk about, autistic people having as a superpower are, I think, masking, oh, well, girls especially and feminine coded people, well, you're so good in school or you're so quiet. Um, People, I think, who are non speaking sometimes are also called very, quiet or very respectful. And I think a lot of that was masking, but I don't think now that I'm older and I'm no longer like being asked to mask, now that I've really deliberately unmasked myself, I don't think that I have any problem at all with that. In fact, I think that was always something that, people were happy to have me go up and speak and stuff, every time, especially when I was younger, that, somebody was asked to speak for a group or something, I'd volunteer. And, now that I'm older and now that I'm really finding myself, I'm finding that honestly, I still like doing that very much. So,
That's a good one to have. And we have some people at Neuroclastic who are like, no, I can't do I don't want to do the public stuff. We had, especially tech people who help us with
mhm.
technology. And a lot of people, activism is hard and advocacy is really hard. And a lot of people burn out and just kind of they're with us for a season and then life changes or things get hard outside of neuroclastic or they've just really struggled with the emotional weight of everything that we do and they have to take a step back. And so we have some long time people and some people who come and go for a season and some people who drop in here and there. And we're not a well-oiled machine at all. But Sarah is kind of my executive functioning, I think.
You're an amazingly productive machine, so hats off to you. Sometimes it's my process is not always pretty, but you guys, I'm always amazed at the level of content and the responsiveness to issues going on in the community and your tireless work around important issues like the whole JRC and all of that. That it seems like it's around the clock. So kudos to all of you all.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot, and that's one reason that maybe I dropped the ball on sending the link to. I can't believe I did that. I'm so sorry, Tiffany, if you're out there. Um, but it crises happening all the time that uh, oh my goodness, there's no way to predict for them. And the bigger we get, the more often things in our network we obviously can't respond to most things, but some things we have to. And so we're trying to do all the things, but it's just, I feel like all the time I'm just dealing with that big emergency. But the question was, what are we grateful for? And I think that I am so grateful for having this community to be able to do some of this activist work. And because me just trying to do things by myself with it, I almost never leave my house. Almost never. People say that sometimes, like, they're introverted, but I'm like
No, I
once a
completely
month.
understand.
Once a month if I have to, it is very seldom. So I really don't have any personal individual ability to impact any change, but I have community. And so we've been able to do some amazing things because a bunch of people got together and supported each other. And the more people, that's the thing, like we just need a lot of bodies sometimes because one of us might be too small to defend ourselves, against these big systemic things. But once you add 100,000 people to that equation, you have a lot more leveraging power when you come to the table, and if you don't get invited to the table, you build your own. And then people started coming to the table, and now we have the big table at this point, and that's huge for the autistic community to we are now choosing who we invite to our table, and that's a powerful negotiating piece that I just really feel grateful for everybody who helps make that a thing. So, yeah. Sarah, what are you grateful for?
Oh gosh, well, I'm really grateful for you. I'm really grateful for you guys. I don't think there was a single time in my life that I felt, I mean, normal is out of the question, but capable, I guess. And the way you talk about the way you just said that I was your that I was your executive functioning and stuff. Well, again, I mean, I think maybe I was always that capable, but I think that people didn't like appreciate that. I mean, I think as an autistic person, you do so much. Maybe you do, two, three, four, five times as much as everyone else. And you're just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. And with neurotypical people, I think sometimes they're just not grateful for what we do bring to the table, no matter how much it is. I think they have no sense of perspective on that. And so when I'm around people who are like me, my people here, my community, I feel like I can actually do something like you were saying. I feel like I can give back. I feel like I have gifts that I'm able to give to other people. And I don't mean that, in a conceited way, like, hey, it turns out I'm really good at plenty of things, but it turns out that I can help. And I feel so grateful to actually be a part of something that I can help other people with, you know? So I guess it's just
Totally.
be of service. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because Sarah and I have a lot in common, like so much. Just even our very non-typical ethnic backgrounds.
Yeah, culturally and the way that we do things, the way we approach things mentally, yeah.
Yeah, and also, but our differences are related to just their neurodivergent profiles, and so I call people with capacity to organize spreadsheet autistics. Sarah is a spreadsheet autistic. I am not. I'm the polar opposite. Like Sarah's place is just so idyllically organized and neat, and my place, everything around me is just chaos.
Yeah,
We
organized.
have Matthew Russian here. Oh my God. I'm sending you a link, Matthew. You can jump in on the stream because that's just the kind of day that we're having if you want, but no pressure. You all know who Matt.
Mhm.
So, Ian, do you have any questions for other panelists? I just like to hear from Ian. Ian's hilarious. I feel like we have this quiet snark between us that it's understood.
HYDOYOU. Why do you? THINK. THAT. That. SOMANY. That's so many. PEOPLENTTOCHANGE. Why do you think that so many people want to change USWHEN when WEARE when we are SOHAPPY happy WITH OURSELVES. Why do you think so many people want to change us when we're so happy with ourselves?
Oh my God,
That's
that's
a
a
big
good
question.
question. Yes. Oh God. I will take that first and then I'll pass it on to Summer. I think that they don't know that we're happy with ourselves because in their presence, in the presence of people who want to change us, they don't see us being happy with ourselves because they're not happy with who we are. And it puts us in a defensive place or a place where we have to hide who we are. So they're not experiencing the best of us. That's one thing, like, I have people in my family who I love so much, but I've never been able to be around them without having my nervous system just constantly so activated that I can't be myself. And I hate being around myself around them because I'm so dysregulated that I just trauma dump and I say things that I wish I wouldn't have said out loud a lot. And I'll try to rehearse and say, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to remind myself. I'm going to wear this piece of jewelry and hold it the whole time to keep myself remembering not to do the things that not to say snarky things and not to say more than 2 or 3 sentences because it's going to come out wrong and then they're going to misinterpret it and it's going to become a thing. And I just can't be myself and I never have been able to ever. And I think, of course, they probably want to change me because I'm not happy with myself in their presence. And I think I wish that they could see. I wish they would come to this right now, but they don't want. They don't have any interest in being a part of our community. So they tell me they love me, but so that's me personally. I'd love to hear that from the audience too, because I think every autistic person has something to say about this. What about you, Summer?
Wow, that is such a profound question. It just made me speechless for a while. I think one of the things that I feel like they try to change us because they don't know us. I would say that they have, see, every autistic person is different. We have our own lived experiences. And when do you feel uncomfortable? When do you feel scared? When you don't know something, when you don't understand something? And I feel like they don't have the understanding of that lived experience. And when they don't, they categorize us as something to be uncomfortable about and something to be scared of, or even something to be, unhappy about. And that's when they try to make those changes to conform us to, up to what their quote unquote standard of normal is. And honestly, if I were to put it, and I'm sorry, I'm being blunt here, I think ignorance, ignorance is kind of like a major key player here. It's just plain for me. I think it's lack of knowledge of the lived experiences that we have.
Totally that. How about you, Sarah?
See, I think there's two kinds of people as far as wanting to change us goes. And then there's people who are acting, I think, in good faith and people who are acting in bad faith. And I think the good faith ones, the ones who want what's best for us, family members and people that might mean well, I think maybe they don't understand our experience as being a happy one. They'll talk to us about how miserable we are. Well, perhaps you should get used to louder noises. Perhaps, if you didn't stim, people wouldn't make fun of you. If you tried to avoid having a tick or whatever, then and you try to blend in, then you would be happier because you would be like everyone else and they wouldn't tease you or whatever. Or the noises wouldn't be so loud they would upset you, or something along that vein. And I think that they mean well and they care very deeply about us, but they don't understand that when we're not happy, there isn't really anything that we can do to change that. It's not going, we can act, we can mask, we can, have behavioral therapy applied to us, but and we'll look better for them and they'll feel like we're happy. And again, I don't necessarily think all the people who believe that are hateful, you know. I think some of them care very much about us and they're just trying to make us feel better in the only way that they know how as neurotypical people, and they're incredibly missing the mark because accommodations are all that's really going to make us happy or make us fit in. It's not going to work the other way around. If it could, we would have all changed by now because it's a painful process, you know? And then I think there are people who are acting in bad faith. And I think there are plenty of those too among, you know, educators, people who claim to help us, you know, people who are close to us too. And they just want us to stop acting this way. I think they just don't want us to be ourselves. Or maybe, you know, no matter what we tell them, you know, hey, this makes me happy. It's important to me to be accommodated in this way. I do believe that, yeah, they want us to change. They feel uncomfortable. They feel uncomfortable watching us stim or watching, you know, ticks or echolalia or whatever it is that, you know, we're feeling at the time. Maybe the, you know, external display of our emotions, or maybe just the fact that we're different. Yeah, I think that it makes them uncomfortable and they would do anything, you know, reasonable to stuff that down. So, yeah, I mean, I think some people are, they love us very much and they just want us to be happy and they can't understand us. And I think there are people who very much don't care if we're happy. Unfortunately, I think there, you know, and I've encountered a lot of both of those kinds of people. Yeah.
I think Ian said, the first thing Ian said today coming in was, I'm so weird and I love it.
That's
And I think that that kind of illustrates that fundamental difference between, you know, maybe
yeah.
it's neurological, is that we are kind of
Mhm.
wired to love being different and to
Yeah.
love difference in others.
Hmm.
And other people are more wired to love sameness.
Yeah.
And so they
Conformity.
push for assimilation and conformity.
Mhm.
And they feel that we genuinely won't be happy if we don't do things the way
Yep.
everyone else is. And, you know, I'll tell somebody that I don't like something that most people like a family member who's not autistic.
Hmm.
And they'll say, "That's so sad. That's heartbreaking." No, it's not. I don't like it, so it's not sad. You know, if I don't like Brussels sprouts, it's not heartbreaking. I'm not missing out. I can eat
Yep.
other things besides that. But everybody loves Brussels sprouts or, you know, pizza, or
Hmm.
yeah, everybody loves
Yep.
giant public events and
Yes.
amusement parks and loud things. But we don't all love that. And so I'm happy to be weird and different, but only in a place that I don't feel threatened to, that people, I don't feel pressured to change. But I think that we as autistics feel a constant threat to our safety, because if we are ourselves, if we're true to our values, which often are not assimilating and being true and honest, and we don't conform, it's dangerous.
Hmm.
And so many subtle ways, you know, it might not be always health dangerous, like, you know, we're not always physically endangered, but we are almost always in danger of like people misinterpreting us,
Yep.
bullying us, having such a different perspective that they are going to not be able to receive what we say and get it, because if they said it would mean something different. What do you think, Evie?
I really, for me, what Summer you said about not understanding the differences, so therefore being threatened by the differences. I mean, I think we can see that, you know, substitute autistic community for any other minority community or any other marginalized community. And it's, I don't know, I struggle all the time to think about, particularly here in the US, where, you know, it's very American spirit. I do what I want, I do it my way, but yet, oh, I want everything to be the same, you know, and I don't understand that oxymoron. But I think what all of you all have said has really resonated. And Ian has been happy flapping through all of this. So Ian, what do you think? G U Y S Y O U G E T M E exclamation. Guys, you get me. IAMBEYOND. I'm beyond. ECSTATIC. I'm beyond ecstatic. TOHEARYOU. To hear you. SAY. Say. ALLTHETHINGS. I'm beyond ecstatic to hear you say all the things.
Thanks.
Tara, did I just had a ADHD brain shut down. All the things. Okay. Thank you. IAMTHINKING. Thinking and EXPERIENCING. All the things I'm thinking and experiencing.
That's amazing. Yeah, good. I'm
And
so
again, that's
happy you're
for
here.
that power of being in community and being with people who accept you.
Yeah,
Completely.
and that alone, if we had no other mission and we weren't, out there trying to like stop the shock and do other things, I feel like that alone is just huge. That's enough to have a whole nonprofit for. And I think what Kind Theory is doing and what I Ask is doing, and we're also partnering with Crimson Rise and Reach Every Voice, and hopefully we can do another live stream soon. I was telling Evie today that I am so bad at planning that I am not accommodating. Maybe Sarah can help me.
I can definitely help.
Yeah, like plan some things in the future.
You should line on her planning.
Yeah, I need a lot. I am feral. I am so hard to wrangle, but I am so grateful. When you asked me what I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for my team because I've never had anybody who believes me and gets like I say the worst, most like they probably sound ableist to people because in my private spaces I don't filter myself and I just say who I am and it's I have some I am a wreck. But they just get it and they know and they're like, okay, I'll do this thing or how about if we do this? And I'm like, that makes so much sense. I could never have thought of that myself though. So our team here is just we're all so different, but
Well, but that's, I think, Tara, at least for me, when you say I want to do something, I'm like, all right, I'm in. And so, like I said, it's so good to have many, many people make this happen.
yeah, I mean, I'm inviting people in the middle of the stream to the stream. Like that's how bad I am at planning, and I should not be doing this. And I hate myself half the time, 95% of the time, because I wish that I didn't miss so much and mess up so much and forget so many things because my brain can't multitask. But this community is like, no, we get it. You're good. What you do is enough, and so yeah, I'm grateful for that too. Like,
Yeah, the accommodations are great because I have that problem too, especially with my health. I have problems like, showing up to things on time and things like that. And yeah, I always felt like, a really flaky person, even though, yeah, I'm pretty organized. Um, because I had to deal with that too, that people would consider my health problems to be like, a voluntary thing. Well, if you wanted to show up for, something, you would do it, and of course that's not true, not for us. Wanting to doesn't make it happen, especially with neurodivergent people. I can want to show up for something and not be able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really helpful to have this space and to have people that understand that I can't always.
Ian, I hope that you will put your bio in for your comic character because I just think you would make an epic
Oh, yeah.
superhero, a super freak.
Well,
And definitely your shades should be part of your costume for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. I know. I think Ian's got like the greatest hair of anyone I've ever known, and yeah, he's definitely known for his shades. But Ian just spelled out, um, uh, "Don't hate yourself. We all love you."
You're the best, Ian. Thank you so much. Now my days. Now my day is better. Thank you. I will try my best not to.
No, no one's a harder critic than we are on ourselves most of the time, right?
Yeah. I hope not, but I'll definitely there are harder critics of me than I am of myself or whatever version of me they think I am. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I am not a superhero. I'm a super villain. If you ask like half the world out there, like some of the things I hear about myself, that is something that makes. I already want to live in a cave. Like my dream job was to be a lighthouse keeper. That was as a child because I would just get to stay on a lighthouse in an island somewhere and just do work and read by myself because there's no pressure to mess up that way. Well, I mean, other than ships would wreck, that's pressure, but
Not the same kind.
So
Not
we
so.
had a question from My Autistic Life. How do we put our character info in? There is a pinned post on Neuroclastic, and is the first pinned post. So if you go to our Facebook page, you will see like a slideshow that talks about it and a bunch of bios in the comments that you can look at to, see what other people have done. I have loved reading. Have you all read those? Have you seen any of them, Summer?
I haven't
And
read any of them yet.
yeah, they're amazing because you see people understanding themselves and talking about themselves honestly in a way that's just so complicated and it looks nothing like the DSM criteria for autism. But as an autistic person, you look at that and you're like, yeah, this is my people. I said that I feel like a wolf turtle hybrid in response to someone, and they're like, you're my people.
I read this one about oak tree, and I I absolutely related to it.
Evie, have you
You're
seen any
cracking
of them?
Ian up over here. He's laughing hysterically. He did say, I have not seen any of the bios yet. I need to go and look for them. Ian said about your whole island lighthouse thing. He said, that sounds great. Can I come visit you?
Yes, you can definitely come. Swearing is loud.
Ian and I are
Ian,
there then.
Ian, do you swear more in your head than Evie swears out loud?
IMIGHT. I might! Exclamation point. He's really better at keeping it in his head than I might be.
I feel like I can hear Ian's internal swearing, and that's why you're one of my favorite humans in the world. So I think that this should wrap us up. I guess, we're almost an hour and a half in, and maybe your guests just couldn't break away, so, or other guests, and that's okay because last minute things. But yeah, anybody have any closing comments or questions before we head out?
ThankYouSomuch. Thank you so much. ThisBen. This has been THEHIGHT, the highlight. OFMYDAY. Thank you so much. This has been the highlight of my day.
Mine too. Thank you for coming. It's the highlight of my day because you all are awesome.
I just want to say the same thing. It has been an honor to meet all of you. Tara, I don't know if it's appropriate to share here, but can I share something a little bit about one of the upcoming projects that we have?
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, but we don't do appropriate here very well. I don't put a lot of weight on appropriate. Go
No, I
ahead.
just feel like that it's going to be we are working with an ADHD nutritionist, Rebecca King, and we are launching a program in March, which is free of cost for all to attend. It's a 6-month program, Nourish Diversity. It basically is focused on neurodivergence and nutrition. So anyone who thinks that they can benefit from it, please do get yourself registered. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering.
Yes, me. Sign me up. I need that. Is it going to support people who can't feed themselves because poor executive function? Because, like, that's me. I was thinking about making a post yesterday asking autistics, what's the weirdest thing you fed yourself in the last month because executive functioning fell and you just don't want to starve to death, but fixing food is too many steps and it's too hard. So, and I was thinking about the weird stuff that I've eaten. And last night I ate my dinner at like 3 in the morning. And that was the first thing I had eaten because I just could not sleep if I didn't eat something, but it was just too hard. So I kept putting it off. I don't know. So will it help people like me?
Well, it is. There is actually a whole module on the overwhelm that comes with food prep and eating and nutrition and all of that. But Tara, I just want to kind of feel like you're my, kindred spirit or something like that, because I think about something and then you come on the other day and tell me, oh, I was just about to do that, or I was just about to say that.
Yeah, that happens a lot with other autistic people, doesn't it? It's like we're on a wavelength. Oh my goodness, Sarah's kitchen. Sarah's love language is food. And so I just look at that and I'm like, this is the medicine that I need. I just want to curl up in a plate of like in the Dutch oven or whatever that Sarah is baking in, and yeah.
Someday we'll have to figure out a way to either move closer to one another or figure out like same day shipping so I can ship fresh food. I'm a food sensory seeker. I'm the opposite. So I like deliberately add 1,000 spices to my food. I do eat same foods. I think if people were to really think about it, I'll rotate through same foods and stuff, but I want hot sauce on everything and I want, yeah. And I think that,
Same.
yeah, I think that's actually really typical of autistic people from other cultures and it's not talked about enough, especially. Would you agree? Yeah. So I think people don't talk about that, but yeah. So people think that like I actually have a really normal diet, and it's completely abnormal actually. Last night I was eating sriracha and A1 on macaroni and cheese because it's not spicy enough.
Same. I
And
do that. Exactly that.
Do you use weird food combinations as well?
absolutely. Absolutely. And seasoning chai with just an absurd amount of spices just until it's too hot for the average person, things like that. Yeah.
And culturally, I think
Yeah,
Sarah will get this. Like, you put cinnamon and allspice in non dessert foods all the time.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Tomato
that's the
sauce.
thing.
Yep,
Oh
everything
yes,
absolutely.
everything tomato
Right.
based. Cabbage rolls. So we
Hmm.
sent Sarah a care package,
Hmm.
and it had a sphere holder for gemstones that was
Yep.
cabbage because it culturally is a thing for us. That, but yeah, we had cabbage rolls this week with which is like my favorite food in the world. It's medicine for me, and it's a tomato based dish with cabbage, and it's a poverty culture dish, and
Hmm.
just the whole house smelled like cabbage plus cinnamon plus allspice plus everything else, but those three primary things and that's like our culture, isn't
Well,
it?
actually, the history of this one is fascinating, and I have to info dump. I'm really sorry. I have to
Okay.
info dump about this. The reason that we have cabbage rolls in Romani culture is because they're a variation of dolma, of stuffed grape leaves, and when we were in Eastern Europe, all we had was cabbage. We didn't have grape leaves because it's too cold for those to grow there. So we substituted cabbage. The filling is actually identical. So that's actually why we have the stuffed cabbage, which is called sarma for us, instead of or cabbage rolls, or we'll use local words for it, like guampi and stuff, instead of the and yeah, any culture that has those, including Polish, that was pretty much cribbed from us. But yeah, we also have similar dishes like that, like paprikash, chicken paprikash, and that was also that's basically a version of a curry, but with ingredients that you can find in Eastern Europe. So, yeah, as we migrated, because we originated in India as a culture, that's actually, and we went through the Middle East and we went through Europe, that's actually how our culture evolved that food. So, yeah, the cabbage rolls are pretty much identical, but yeah, we do. Since it's inexpensive, we eat an absolute ton of that. And it's actually hard for me to eat because I have pathological demand avoidance. So at this point, my family will be like, "You should just stay away from the house for like a week because I'm sorry, we're having that for dad or whatever." And I can't do it anymore because there were big family dinners and it would be literally pans and pans of that out on the table and I can't take it anymore. My family will ask every couple of years, "Can you do it? Can you eat it again?" And I'll be like, "No." I eat all of those foods, but not in that exact combination. I'm so sorry. You demanded too much of me as a child, and now I can't do it. It feels terrible, but yeah, yeah, we absolutely season the heck out of that stuff, and I think it ticks everybody off who isn't used to that level of spice.
Yeah, so Sarah and I both have but Sarah grew up connected to her culture, and my family had lost it but retained so much of, so we have the same heritage, but I didn't have the cultural connection that she did, so she educates me a lot on my things that we always did but have no idea the history of. And so cuz we both have Romani and indigenous heritage, so yeah, that's really been a fun thing for us too. It's meant a lot to me. That's Identity is a lot more complicated than neurotype, right? Okay, so I think we're good. Cabbage rolls is always the perfect place way to end anything or
Terry,
begin
can
it.
I add one more thing? Ian did spell,
Yeah.
he, more so than the spice, he said, I like my food super hot, like temperature hot. And we've certainly have dined many times together that have resulted in numerous microwavings and heating to keep
Mhm.
it at atomic hot. But I wanted to add his comment in. But I also, Tara, I don't see how I can put something into the comments here, but I did put a link. I sent it to your Facebook Messenger for boards and chords. So coming up on February 25th, if I could make a little plug, Saturday,
Please.
February 25th, we have our third annual Boards and Chords, which is a concert of songs written by non-speaking, minimally speaking, and reliably speaking people. And then they have directed music videos around them, and it is epic. And we have two showings so that you can catch it in different time zones or whatever your time preference is. I believe it's 1 Eastern and 8 p.m. Eastern. So you have two, it's the same show, just two different times, but the songs are coming in and they are they're beyond great. And some are funny, some are sad, some are advocacy, but they're all really, really powerful expressions of communication rights. And I think of people's own unique skills and traits. So it's right up this alley. We hope to see you guys there.
Yeah, I will share that. I'm logged into Neuroclastic and not my personal profile, so I can't do it from my computer, but I'll share the link to Boards and Chords. And Summer, if you will send me a link to any posts where people can join the nutrition program, I will share that through Neuroclastic's Facebook and other social media as well. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being in community with us, and we'll keep doing these streams. If you have ideas, please let us know what kind of streams you want and who you want to interact with. I know everybody wants Ian to come back. I do. Okay. See you all later. Thank you, everybody.
Bye all.
Bye-bye.